Okay, so getting back into our coverage over X-Men comics, as we work our way up to Days of Future Past, we are now going to pick up with X-Factor number 41 and 42. Now, this is going to give us the first appearance of Alchemy in the world of Marvel Comics. Now, Alchemy is not really a big-time character in X-Men comics until much later, but this is his first appearance ever in Marvel Comics. Now, when it comes to X-Factor, they have to save him, but they have to save him from a bunch of trolls. And so getting into today's storyline, we jump over to London, England, where we pick up with a troll. Now, this troll had apparently picked up the scent of gold nearby. Now, something else I do want to mention about this troll is that it knows that it's not allowed to easily travel across the city of London because of the way it looked. It would scare a lot of people. It would scare humans. And so you have the troll being able to find a coat to hide his appearance. But either way, the troll was able to figure out where the scent was actually coming from. And this gives us our first appearance of Thomas Jones. Now, Thomas Jones is going to be Alchemy one day. He is a mutant, but he has no idea that he is a mutant. Now, when it comes to Thomas, he has the ability to take different kinds of objects and change those objects into different kinds of elements. Now, for Alchemy, when he first appeared in Marvel Comics, he could only do three: platinum, gold, and lead. And that's really it. Now, when it comes to our troll friend here, the gold he smelled earlier came from Alchemy's home. You see, when it comes to Alchemy, he is currently studying for a test. But while studying, without him noticing, his pen keeps changing into different kinds of elements: platinum, lead, and also gold. And so when it comes to our troll here, he wants to use Thomas as a way to make a lot of gold. And so when you have Thomas go down for dinner, you have the troll sneak into his room, waiting for the right moment to grab Thomas. But now we have to jump over to X-Factor. Now, by this point in X-Factor comics, they were really more like a newer version of Charles Xavier's school. Let me explain. So when it came to X-Factor, when they first came together as a team, they had pretended to be a group of humans who were going out of their way to find mutants, to hunt down mutants, to help out the human race. But in reality, they were a group of mutants going out of their way to find other mutants to properly train, to teach them how to control their abilities, just like Charles Xavier did for them many years ago. And so over time, they were able to find different people to take under their wing. Now, recently, they had gained some newer students, and that would be the New Mutants. Because remember, by this point in Marvel Comics, the New Mutants were no longer going to Charles Xavier School anymore. Really, by this point, Charles was no longer their headmaster. He had left a while back to go spend some time with his space girlfriend Illyandra, but he left Magneto in charge. Now, at first, Magneto did a great job, but over time, he began to show that he was going back to his old ways again. And so for the New Mutants, they hated the idea of being under Magneto when he was going back to his old ways again. And so they left the school and went over to the home of X-Factor. And so as we jump over to X-Factor, we just see them chilling with all their different kinds of students. But now we have to jump back over to Thomas. Now, when it comes to Thomas, he's going back to his room after having dinner, except as soon as he walks into his room, he's then grabbed by the troll, and the troll is able to get away with Thomas, except before he leaves, Thomas' mom heard something big happening upstairs. And so right when she walks into his room, she sees her son being taken away by a troll. Now, she does try her best to save her son, but unfortunately, she's not that good enough to save her son from a troll. But as we jump back over to XFactor, there is something else I do want to talk about, and that would be Christopher Summers. Now, when it comes to Christopher, he is the son of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, but Madeline is no longer around thanks to X-Men Inferno. And so now it's Jean Grey trying her best to replace Madeline to be a mom for Christopher. Now, the reason why I am bringing this up is because while you do have the two characters sit down and talk more about Christopher, you have somebody else walk into the room and say, hey guys, listen, I just got a call from London from a mom who just said her son was kidnapped by a troll, and she feels like we are the best team to handle this kind of situation. Now, when it comes to XFactor, they are down to go save the boy, except they're kind of like, hey, what do we do with the baby? At first, they're kind of like, hey, leave the child here with the rest of the kids. But for Jean Grey, it's kind of like, no, we are his parents and we can do a good job protecting him while trying to accomplish this mission. For me personally, that's a bad idea, but XFactor, they do it anyways. And really, when it comes to the baby, when they do arrive in Thomas' home to talk to his mother, she's very shocked in the idea that this superhero team actually has a baby with them, and kind of wondering, why in the world do you guys have a baby with you after I just called and told you that a troll had taken my son? But either way, she does inform XFactor what she saw, and so they're hoping that they are able to save her son. And so that leads into our heroes going out of their way to find the troll, to find Thomas. Now, you do have our heroes being able to go to the underground tunnels in London, where they do find the troll, except the troll is not alone. He has a whole group with him, and they're better known as the Troll Associates. Now, this is a group of characters that I'm not going to spend much time talking about because they only appear about 4 times in Marvel Comics. And that's really it. Now, the reason why they kidnap Alchemy is because, again, he has the ability to turn things into gold or other kinds of elements. But their main goal is to use his powers to turn different objects into gold. And the reason why? To ruin London's economy. Yes, you heard that right. You see, before the humans had taken over the land, the trolls used to live there in London. But over time, you had humans arrive and begin to take over the area. And so for the trolls, they're all like, you know what? If we are able to ruin the economy here in London, then all the humans are going to leave. And then we'll be able to, reclaim our lost land. And so they want to use the gold as a way to ruin the economy. Now, when it comes to our heroes, they actually lose the battle against the Trolls Associates at first. Matter of fact, after losing, they get tied up in a bunch of chains. Now, our heroes are able to wake up just in time to 1, save Christopher, but 2, free themselves as well. Now, some of the trolls had already left, and matter of fact, they left with Thomas because now they are going to begin the process of turning almost anything into gold to begin the process of destroying the economy of London or Great Britain. But either way, you do have our heroes being able to take down a few members of the Trolls Associates. Now you're probably wondering, hey Fresh, where is Excalibur? Now you have to remember that Excalibur, at the end of our last video for that team, they were teleported somewhere else by a robot known as Widget. And so we have no idea where they have been teleported to. And so unfortunately, they can't help XFactor out with this kind of problem. Now, when it comes to Alchemy, there's something else we have to remember. This is a boy who is just learning that he is a mutant, a young boy who is just learning how to use his actual ability. Because right now, he's plotting to use his powers as a way to turn the last 2 trolls into gold, as a way to escape. But at the same time, kind of wondering, is that the right thing to do? Can they survive? And if he does it, can he turn them back? This is a young boy who is still trying his best to learn more about what his ability can actually do. Now, the story does get wrapped up very quickly because when it comes to Alchemy, he realized that his best way out of this situation is to go ahead and use his ability. And so he turns the last two trolls into gold. Now, yes, he is concerned about, hey, will I be able to turn them back? Will they be able to survive? But for right now, he was able to save himself, save his mom, but to also help out XFactor. Now you would think, okay, this story is going to end in a way where he is gonna go with XFactor and become another trainee. But he says no, he wants to stay in London, finish school, go to university and become a biochemist. Now, once he's able to learn different things with different properties, he'll come back here and try to turn the trolls back into their regular form. Now, you do have XFactor and also Alchemy move the trolls over to a nearby park where he is able to turn them into lead so that now they look like part of the park decorations. But for time being, they're going to stay there until he is able to come back and properly heal them. But either way, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.